Hey friends, welcome back to Make Good Fashion, where we teach you how to start, launch, and grow impactful fashion brands. We're rolling back into our wholesale series, and today I want to do a little assessment. Are you ready to be in wholesale? A lot of you maybe have been doing direct to consumer sales and you want to expand your brand and see your creations in retail stores. But there are a few check marks that you need to hit to make sure that your brand is prepared for wholesale, as it is a whole nother beast. And so I want to get you guys prepared and make sure that you guys are ready to step into wholesale with confidence and the tools that you need so that you can be successful. And so today I'm going to be talking about just that, all the things that you need to have in place before you step into wholesale. So let's get started. Okay, so the first thing I want to talk about is costing. And this is a big one because I think when people start brands, they don't consider costing. And when you are working with retailers, you have to remember that you are selling your goods for a wholesale cost. And they will then go mark it up at a retail cost. And usually that's about a 50% markup or higher. They're going to sell your goods for. And so the retail cost is reflective of what you are selling your goods for right now on your online store, wherever you're selling, right? And so if you minus that by 50%, and let's say that you were selling your products for $20 and the wholesale cost of your item would be $10. If you sold that product for $10 to a retailer, and obviously you're selling in bulk, but would you be making a profit? And so you want to make sure that you have enough margin within your pricing that you're still going to be making a profit when you sell it at wholesale cost to retailers. And so make sure that you're checking that and also making sure that you're pricing your goods efficiently. And so sometimes that may require that you have to reconsider your pricing structure. Sometimes that means that you may need to price your goods higher. And sometimes that means that you may need to source more affordable materials without compromising quality, of course, to make sure you can get your pricing to a point where you are still making a profit, even if you're selling wholesale. The other thing that I want you to consider is having a full product range. And so a lot of times when brands are selling direct to consumer, you don't really think about the collection as a whole. Sometimes you're just thinking about, I want to produce one of these dresses and maybe two tops, right? But not thinking from a merchandising perspective. And when buyers go and look through your line sheet, so they look through your collection, they want a full range to choose from and they want full looks to choose from. So if you're doing a top, having a bottom that may go with that, and having different colors available and having things that are in trend for that season. And so you have to really think about what the buyers are looking for and giving them a selection to choose from. So having 3 products may not be enough depending on what type of store you're trying to be in and what type of brand you have. But again, usually buyers want to see a full range. They're probably not going to select everything from your collection, but giving them options to choose from is super important. So think about that when you are creating your collections. Do I have a full range that includes enough items for buyers to choose from? So another thing that is super crucial when you're looking to step into wholesale is, hey friend, have you been curious about wholesaling your fashion brand? Well, I have some exciting news for you. We have an upcoming workshop called Unlocking Retail Success: 3 strategies for getting your fashion brand into retail stores. And it's just around the corner. In this exclusive workshop, we're diving deep into the strategies that will help you secure your brand spot on retail shelves. Whether you're just starting out or looking to expand your reach, these proven tactics will pave the way for your success. Join us as we uncover the secrets to navigating the competitive world of retail, from building lasting partnerships to maximizing your brand's visibility. You'll walk away with actionable insights that you can implement right away. So don't miss out on this invaluable opportunity to unlock the doors to retail success. Reserve your spot now at makegoodfashion.com/wholesale or check the description for the link. Trust me, friend, you are not going to want to miss this. Making sure that you have your manufacturing down. So when you are working in wholesale, you never know how big of an order you're going to get. You can get a 1,000-piece order, you can get 200-piece order, or whatever it may be. And so you want to make sure, one, that your manufacturer that you're working with is able to handle different capacities, that they're not too small, whereas if you get a 200-piece order that they can't handle it. And if you are working with a manufacturer that can't handle anything over 100 pieces, that you do make relationships with other manufacturer. So in the future, if you decide to step into wholesale, that you have these relationships built and you have different places that you can send goods out to depending on the quantity of the order, and their capabilities and what they're able to do. Another reason why it's important to have established relationships with your manufacturers is that you want to make sure that they are trustworthy. When you're working in wholesale, it's super important that you maintain trust with your retail partners and that they can be confident that when you say that you're going to deliver on a certain date, that you will be able to meet those delivery needs. And a lot of times, if you're not able to meet the shipping window that you promise your retail buyers and retail partners, then they can cancel that whole order and that can leave you with tons of inventory. And so you want to make sure that you have a relationship built with these manufacturers to where you can say that you can confidently trust that they will be able to meet not only the capacity that you're trying to produce, but they can also meet the scheduling and deadline needs for future wholesale orders. You also want to make sure you have your logistics sorted out. So when you are working in wholesale, obviously you have to ship bulk goods to the retail stores. And again, we just talked about how we want to make sure they're shipped on time and all of that. A lot of times when you're working with retailers, they have routing guides and they have very specific requirements about how things need to be shipped. So that means that you need to have someone that is really dedicated to understanding the routing guides from different retailers, and every retail store's routing guides are different. If you're working with smaller boutiques, you probably don't have to deal with that because smaller boutiques usually don't have super strict requirements or requirements at all for how something needs to be shipped. But when you start working with department stores or larger retailers, they do have very specific requirements. And you can be charged for not meeting those requirements. So you want to make sure that you either have someone in-house that can really dedicate themselves to reading these logistics and these routing guides and to make sure things are shipped properly and in time, or working with a 3PL, which stands for third-party logistics, that can handle that, and has the experience understanding routing guides and how to ship to these types of retailers. And so you got to just make sure that you have that sorted out before anything. Another thing you want to make sure of, and this is one of the most important things, is that you have quality and fit down. One mistake that new designers can make is that they don't have their fit down right. They don't actually even do a fitting session to make sure that the garments are sitting properly and all of that, or doing shrinkage tests and all these little nuances. And then you'll sell to a retail store and they will try to sell your goods, but then they don't move off the shelf because they don't fit properly, right? And then they never want to work with you again and they probably want to send back the goods and all these things happen. So you want to make sure that you have the quality and the fit down in your product so that you can make a lasting impression on your retailers. They can be so happy with the quality of your products and that their customers are happy and asking for more so that you can continue that partnership for years to come. And you also want to make sure that your sizing is consistent and just your whole brand is consistent, because when they order from you and then they want to reorder, they're going to expect the same quality year after year. And so this is one of the most important things, as I said, and you don't want to skip these steps of really perfecting your product as much as possible. You also want to make sure you have systems in place to make sure you are keeping organized within your business for wholesale. So for example, you want to make sure that all of your products have style numbers. And there's another video in this wholesale series that talks about line sheets and things like that. So if you're not familiar with the style number, you can watch that video and it'll tell you more about that. But you want to have style numbers and you want to have all your patterns together and ready so that when you need to cut a new style, you have those together. You want to make sure the fabrics that you're using on the samples that you're showcasing to these buyers are readily available for reorder and all of that. So just make sure you have an organized business and system so that you can produce your items very quickly and keep everything organized. Then you also want to have some kind of invoicing system. So whether that be an accounting software or whatever it may be, or you outsource an accountant, you want to make sure that you have a system to invoice, because once they order and it's time to pay, you will need to send them an invoice to be able to get paid. And so just make sure that you're thinking about that so that you will be able to create those invoices. You'll also need to keep in mind that you need to have sales materials, and that looks like having a line sheet. What's basically a catalog of your items available for wholesale. And again, if you look through some of the wholesale videos within the series, you will see all about line sheets. We also sell a line sheet template. It's a plug and play template that's super easy. So if you are looking to go into wholesale, you definitely need this. And I will include the link in the description so you can grab one of those. But you will need line sheets. You will need to do lookbooks so buyers can see the products. And so just make sure that you are thinking about those marketing materials that you will need, a line sheet being number one. And lastly, you need capital. So this is really important because I think this is something that people don't really think about when getting into wholesale. If you were starting your wholesale business on a small scale, so you're working with boutiques and things, it's not going to take tons of money to fulfill those orders. But when you start getting into those larger retailers, those department stores, a lot of time they are ordering hundreds and thousands of pieces at a time from you. And so you want to make sure that you could even fulfill those orders when you get them. And you don't want to have to turn them down because you don't have the capital to fulfill those orders. Because obviously they're going to pay you for those pieces, but to manufacture them in the first place, that's going to take quite a bit of money, right? And so you want to start looking into loans or investments or things that you can get factors to be able to fulfill those orders that come in, and think about that beforehand. Where will you get that money when it's time to fulfill those big orders? Because I would hate for you to get a big order and then have to deny it because you don't know where you're going to get that money from. So think about where you will source capital if you get one of those large orders so you don't get caught off guard when it comes in. So I hope that was helpful to you and that you feel more prepared to step into wholesale and start approaching retail stores. If this video was helpful, please like and share with someone who may need it, and subscribe to our channel for more tips like these. I'll see you next time, guys.